how's it going, everyone? This is YLAM here, and I am happy to announce that I think I'm finally done with my home studio setup. As you can see, there's quite a lot of stuff here right now, but I'm super happy with the setup. Took a while to get here. There were definitely a lot of revisions to the grand plan that I had, but along the way, you learn a lot. You also come up with new ideas, and I'm really excited to use this area to make some different types of video productions and to also learn a lot. I mean, you just can't imagine how much I've already learned when it comes to lighting, and there's still more I need to learn. I mean, it's like, 200 videos of watching about lighting, and I'm only now probably just more dangerous than I was when I first started. There's just so much to learn, but that's the part of the process that I really love, right? That's the reason why I get up in the mornings and I'm excited to come in here and work in the studio, is because I'm learning a whole lot and I'm also being able to create a lot of different things. And part of the joy is to be able to make that content, put it out on YouTube, and just to have fun with it. That's really all this experiment is. And also, everything that I built here, I can eventually move over to a bigger studio if I ever chose to go that route. It's definitely something that I'm interested in, but right now it's just a good learning experience. There's definitely still a lot I could do with the studio in terms of, modifying it, adding things to it. But at this point, I'm way over budget as is. I mean, I'm sure you could tell this is already like a lot of stuff. I'm going to wait till next year to add or modify anything else. I want this to be a good baseline. I'll start here, go at it for a year, or now maybe it's more like 10 months, 7 months, somewhere around there. And then we'll see where we are in January of 2019, and then I might start modifying things once again. But right now, it's been a lot of fun, and I just want to give you a short tour of what I've done and where it is at. And of course, if you have any suggestions, please leave it in the comments below. I would love to hear it because I'm not perfect, and this is certainly a little bit different from what I've seen out in YouTube land. So let me know what you think. So the first area I want to talk about is definitely the green screen. It's the centerpiece of everything that I've been doing. It was the first thing that I set up, and there's been quite a lot of learning. In fact, this is probably the biggest learning experience, and I'm still learning, by the way. I mean, it's not like I'm a professional at green screening right now. There's definitely a lot there to actually still do and still work on. The lighting for it is pretty close to perfect. There's still a few tweaks that I can do in order to make it perfect, but right now I just don't really want to tweak with it too much more. I can deal with most of the problems in post, and they're very easy to deal with. But having a green screen this large at home and being able to light it in such a small area is quite a bit of a challenge. Right now, there's probably 5 lights lighting this green screen and a really good camera, and I can get some really nice results. So the next area I want to talk about is definitely the crazy support system that you see over the top of my head. This is definitely the area where I way overspent, but it's just one of those things where when it finally came together and I started seeing the output and all of the benefits, it was well worth it. It's super cool. If you were watching the last video, you'll notice that I added 2 new supports in the middle, and that made this thing entirely super rigid. It's now very, very tough, and it's very resilient. And all these cross beams on top, I can hang just all sorts of stuff. I've been hanging cameras, lights you already seen. I have different smaller lights that I've been trying out here. Got other ideas that I want to hang, but right now I just don't have the time to actually fool with all of it. But super support structure is really cool because I can actually get a lot of stuff that I want around the studio off the ground, so I'm not tripping on it. There's just all sorts of stuff over here nowadays. I have boxes, random gear, so it's nice to have some of it over the top of my head and just in place whenever I want to use it. So let's go ahead and talk about these new edge lit LEDs that I put in. So these are the ones that are going to be used to light myself or anything that I'm going to be reviewing on the table. They're really great. They're very soft. And one of the great features about them is that any one of these can control the other two based on the channel they're on. So I can give you a demonstration of that. Right now they're all together. So I can go ahead and change the color temperature down to 3000 Kelvin. I can also increase the brightness or decrease the brightness. So this is something that's super easy to do, and I can move it around very easily, which is great. And it's just something that makes it a lot smoother to use as a single man band. So I can go ahead and change the lighting very easily. The way that it's set up right now, the reason why it's set up in such an odd configuration is because this is what it's going to be the best for me for a person wearing glasses. A lot of the times you'll get some really harsh reflections when you're wearing glasses. So it's really good to actually have lighting set up so that it doesn't reflect off your glasses. And this is the setup that I came up with based on how my glasses wear on my face. So the last thing to talk about here is the crazy tripod mess that I have back here. So this is where my main camera is going to be. This is a Blackmagic Ursa. It's a great green screen camera. It's one of the cameras where if you really want to get the most out of the color that you get, this would be it. This is a true cinema camera. It's not a DSLR or a mirrorless camera that a lot of people use, but it's super heavy. So having it in the actual studio is where it really lives. It's a great camera. Love to have it with me. And it's going to be shot on primarily just for the green screen. So if you see anything on the green screen, it's basically coming out of this camera right here. But you never know. I might try different things on it. But I got this a while back, and I knew I wanted to do a green screen setup. So I just kept a hold of this camera, and now it's coming in useful. Oops. One last thing I want to talk about really briefly is I actually moved my podcasting setup over here as well. So everything is set up in this corner now. I have my computer over here, and it's just a really great setup for doing my podcasts. So very quickly, this is what I sound like using my Sony wireless system. And this is what I sound like with a clean audio signal from my Rode NTG1 right here. And this right here is what I sound like when I have my interface turned on with my podcast plugins.